I found myself on a new path, being able to explore the world myself without judgment. And I didn't have to be upset about it. It would be like, wow, that's really interesting. Before, I would be so tight, so tense, ready to explode. Mood changed. I found myself a better person. I like myself better.
Welcome to the Habit of Possibility podcast, the show about turning obstacles into opportunities. I'm your host, Robbie Spier Miller. Today, our guest is Cyndi Tryon of Kahshe Hypnosis. She is going to share with us how she learned how to get out of the good mom role and the ways this helped everyone in her life thrive. Hello, everybody. This is Robbie Spier Miller, your host of the Habit of Possibility podcast. And today we're meeting with Cyndi Tryon, who has been a student at Hypnosis Training Canada for a number of years. And she's grown and changed in all kinds of amazing ways. She has a clinic up in Aurelia called Kahshe Hypnosis. And she's here to share with us how she went from living her life trying to make up for things and do everything she could to do that to being able to actually choose what she wants. And she's going to share with us how that made her life better and also how it helps her help other people more. So welcome, Cyndi.
Thanks, Robbie, for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming. So tell a little bit about what it was like for you, like before you started learning here, what was happening?
So my life every day was trying to make everyone happy. So trying to please, live up to other people's expectations, trying to be the best mom, or in my mind, making it so that my kids lived better lives, making it so that friends were happy. So it's never really about me. I was living through just trying to be a better human, but not succeeding at it.
So would you say, because I think all parents want their kids to have a better life than they do, right? I think that's a really natural instinct or desire. But talk about how this combination of you feeling like you needed to make up for things played into that and how it got in their way.
It got in their way because I didn't allow them to grow through things. I didn't allow them to learn the lessons that they needed. I was always trying to put Band-Aids on everything for them, and it didn't make them happy. They were finding me controlling. They were finding me that I was just misreading every situation and taking over. And a lot of it was I'd made so many mistakes in my life, and I was just trying to make their lives better. And I didn't succeed in that.
Yeah, years ago, I had this client who was struggling with her adult children. And one of the things she said, because she was watching them go through all kinds of things and she knew what they were doing to sabotage themselves, but she knew they wouldn't listen to them or, do what was better. So she said to me, I wish I could just share my wisdom with them through osmosis and they would just know. Right? So I think as parents, we all wish for that because it's really hard to watch people hurt themselves or go through the ups and downs of learning. And as we're talking about this, it reminds me of this movie from years ago. I don't know if you saw it or you remember, but I think it was called WALL-E. It was a Disney movie. And it was about getting civilization to the point where people didn't need to do anything. Like technology did everything for them. So people were actually literally wandering around in wheelchairs, not because they weren't capable of walking, but because it was easier if the wheelchair just took them places. And then they showed how this hurt them in so many ways in their lives. And to me, this kind of situation is that's a good metaphor for rescuing people that way.
Well, for sure. And I could easily see myself, let me do that for you. Don't worry, and now that I've stepped back, it's so cool to see, the kids doing their own thing. I don't need to be on the phone with them every day. And I can stand back and I can watch them flourish in a more unique way.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. And, I think I have come across a lot of parents who I've worked with who, or adult children who are in very close contact with either their parents or their adult children. And a lot of family cultures have evolved this way. But the truth is, when that happens, then the adult child still feels like a child, and the parent still is acting in the role of parent, and that time is totally over. So it keeps the child from becoming a full adult, and it also keeps the parent from living their lives.
Well, it stunted my growth. It stunted me. I was too busy trying to take care of business for everyone else that I didn't take time to grow me or settle into relationship, or because I was trying to be everything that I thought everyone else wanted me to be, and not recognizing that there's boundaries. I had no boundaries.
And that it's good for them to learn through the ups and downs and having their own experiences, because otherwise, how else are they going to get good at things?
Mm-hmm. Right, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So talk about how, like, what have you noticed has improved for your kids since you've started to live your own life?
I've noticed that their relationships have improved. I noticed that I'm now just a grandmother, and I was trying to parent my grandchildren in a different way and not trusting the kids that they could do it themselves, right? Mm-hmm. So here I was, going to go in and raise a whole new group of children. And it's fun just being a grandmother. You just set up things and you have fun, and they go home to their parents. And, that's a very cool thing to watch, that I've seen the grandchildren really blossom, just running in and going, "Grandma, I'm having a popsicle," and they run out the door because they're on their bicycles. And it's neat to see them grow up too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So there's an element of this of like trusting that whatever they need to learn, they're learning, even if in the moment it doesn't look that way. And I know sometimes those moments, I have two kids as well. And there are times where you're like, really, that's what you're going to do? Or at least you think that, even if you don't say it. But it's so important that they do learn from that experience, because otherwise they'll never know. They'll never know what would be a wiser thing to do. I know for me, when I was growing up, my parents in some ways were very overprotective. So they kept me from doing certain things, or there were a lot of rules about what you do or don't do. So there was quite a boundary of learning from experience in certain areas. And so I learned a lot when I moved out of my parents' house and I was living with other people from all over different backgrounds, and observing some things were useful about how I grew up and some things weren't so useful. And it gave me a chance to decide for myself. And I think that each adult person knowing they're capable of that and trusting that is a really important quality to have.
And I can really appreciate that, because we grew up with rules and all the structure, and you weren't allowed to break the rules. And as a mom starting out, I was always going to do it differently than my parents did. And I was really, quite for many years, like really, well, I'm going to say the words, pissed off at my parents. And then I started to appreciate some of the learnings that I had, that having structure and stability is a good thing. Having, set points where you can really stay with between the lines is a good thing. But where I was crossing the line with my own children is, yes, I had structure, stability, but then I was even going further and really like trying to control everything. How sometimes they talk to their spouses.
Yeah. Right. Sometimes we take it too far.
Yeah, and I sure did.
Yeah. I think in various ways we all have. As parents, we're also learning as we go.
And that was kind of a cool experience when I was like, oh, you can make mistakes, and you can recognize, and you can just back up and do it a different way. And I think that's where I found grace, that I could recognize that it's never too late to change. And where I used to want to jump in or come roaring, like now it's just going to sit there and be more curious and not buy into it. So, and when the kids now try to triangulate and bring me into it, it's like, you guys have this, you guys can figure it out. And it's always surprising to me. They're like, it's like, take it up with that child. You guys got it. Where before I used to run from child to child, and that wasn't useful.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. That's great. So talk about how, since you have changed this, what has changed for you? Like, how is the quality of your life better? What has opened up for you, or what have you accomplished because of it?
So I found myself on a new path, a new way of being able to explore the world myself without judgment, being able to have things that popped up in my world, and I didn't have to be upset about it. It would be like, wow, that's really interesting. And before, I would be like so tight, so tense, so ready to explode. And mood changed. I found myself a better person. I like myself better. You know, my partner appreciates me more. Like I hear a lot of kind remarks from him, and I notice a lot of people going, I don't know what she's doing different, but they'll think that I've done something drastic, almost like, where did you go?
Where did you
What
put
have you
Cyndi?
Yes.
Where is she?
Right.
If you're enjoying this podcast, please like and follow us and post a review so other people can find us too.
Being able to talk to people and not hide, because I always hid, I think, behind my kids in a way, like I just didn't have my own voice. So it's like I've learned new languages. I'm able to connect with so many more people, and learning to say the word no was like the coolest thing ever. Like, no, that's a word you can say, and nobody's striking you down dead.
So you realize you can say no, and the world goes on.
It did go on.
Were there moments where people were upset with you about it?
Oh, huge, right? And still today, the kids quite haven't adjusted to everything, so they'll have their moments, and it's easy now just to let them be, to sort it out. Like that, it's being able to move that frustration, and now they're going to get to the other side, and that's the cool thing.
Like you can trust it now.
I can trust it, and what will be. Like they'll need to discover that, so that because they're going to have many obstacles that pop up in their life, whether it's financial problems, whether it's a relationship problem, and if they can't self-sort now, it's going to be even more troubling when they get older. So they might come and say, bounce an idea off me, and I actually make them sort of talk it through without going in and saying, well, you should do this.
So you ask good questions. Yeah, you let them kind of express their ideas.
Yes.
Yeah, it's amazing how when you reveal what you're thinking in your head to the outside world, even if nobody says anything, you see it differently. Yeah.
And that was something that was surprising to me, because it was like seeing it through a lens that was always clouded. And now it's just, I see clarity, and it's neat to see different things.
Yeah. And a parent could be the most wonderful, caring, well-adjusted parent. when the kids are adults, it's still important to not be in their lives too much, right? You could
Yes.
see each other maybe once a week, enjoy seeing each other, love each other, and then be living your own lives, because otherwise the anchors from being a parent and a child fire off, right? Anchors are like, if you can remember a time when you dated somebody and they were a certain scent and you smell that scent, it reminds you of that person. So we have all kinds of visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and smell and taste anchors in our lives. That's just one of them with the scent. And so what happens is that when we're in situations that fire off the anchor, then everything that goes with it comes too. So if we're reminded of being a child, we're going to react to life in a way that comes from being a child. So I know I can remember having moved out of my parents' house and then going back for, a family celebration or a holiday or something, or staying with my parents for a few days. And it was so interesting how quickly I was back in that child role when I did that. But it took being away for a period of time for me to even realize that was happening in the first place. But if I'd been in that situation ongoingly, I wouldn't even know that that was happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so true.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what other possibilities exist in your life now that you have changed that? Because it opened your life up in so many ways. Before, your obsession was saving them, helping them, doing things for them. And now there's so many new things in your life. So, talk about that.
Yeah, so financially, I'm in a very different place than I was because it was just trying to help everybody out and really putting myself in positions that were not okay. And so now financially, it's better for me. I feel calmer in myself, like very calm in myself, and taking things in stride. No matter what pops up, I can go, oh, I have possibilities. I can either go left or right, or I can stay stuck here. So, and being able to see where I want to be and really aim for it, like really boldly taking steps into new, like with my career, taking it to a place, I dreamed it, and now I'm seeing everything come to fruition. I'm seeing better relationship with my partner. I'm seeing a better relationship with the kids. And even friendships where I was just giving a lot to friends, and it's okay just to be a friend and not have to please everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And you also lost 25 pounds.
I sure did.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah, just and really committing to the journey through this and knowing that I had some stumbling blocks and I was able to continue the journey because I knew there would be something different or something for me on the other side, and I just had to trust going through the process. And it was layer after layer after layer that I had to move through to get to this energy space that I'm now in, and the drama that I created in my whole head about it, that I was trying to paint a picture of myself that if I stepped away, I wasn't being good enough for them. And to your point about, you don't have to be in each other's pocket, we have better conversations. My daughter lives 4 hours away, a 4 hour flight away from me out west. And the 5 minute phone calls that we have maybe every 3 weeks or a month have more meaning now than they had when we were calling each other every day. There was a lot of, we would talk every day, but there was no real meaning to it, if you understand that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean in a bad way. It was just, it was more me just trying to see what she was doing. Like, it was like being a little spy. What are you
Checking
doing?
up
What's
on
happening?
her.
What's my grandson doing? And she would be like, Mom, I'm busy. And I would be, oh, you don't want to talk to me. I'm wounded. Right. Or just going over to the kids and not doing it on purpose, but my daughter-in-law, I would scan the house, and then I would start doing things, and you know to her it was like I was being judgy about her house, me thinking, oh, she just needs all this help, right? And I go over now and her house is beautiful. And in my other son's world, being hurt with just little things, and it was like, I was making all that crap up, right?
Yeah.
And it was like, right? And coming home and telling this big sob story to my husband, right?
So you were looking for confirmation that you were a good person, and when they didn't react the way you wanted to, you thought, oh, they don't appreciate what I'm doing, or maybe I am a bad person, or maybe I need to do even more.
Right? I was like, where's my report card? Like, I never got the A.
The endless pursuit of the A.
Yeah. And being very dramatic about it. I mean,
Yeah.
I can laugh now about it, but holy moly. If you had had a video camera, you'd be going, oh, good Lord. And being so angry all the time. Like, that was probably the biggest thing. I was like, I could be the big B word. And just because I was angry that things weren't going my way.
Yeah.
But nowhere did I ever communicate to anybody what I wanted.
Right. And you also thought your way was best for everybody.
Everyone.
Of
right?
course it was.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, Cyndi, as you show this, because I kind of went through the daughter version of this experience, because when I had this happened in various ways over time, but the biggest example was when I had my first child. My mother was a pediatrician, and I made some choices that were quite different from her beliefs about how to handle a baby and raise a child. And so the first year of this child's life, she didn't trust me with him. And here I was, a new mom, right? And my mother's a pediatrician. So it's, you're kind of going, it makes you doubt yourself more because of her skill set. And so it was a real maturing experience for me, because I had to be the one to set that boundary with her. She wasn't going to let up. And so after about a year, I started to notice that she wasn't getting mixed in anymore. And so I said to her, what changed? And she said, oh, I see you're doing a good job, so I can leave it to you. But she needed to wait until she could see that to leave it to me. And I was 34 at the time. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's, sometimes it doesn't matter how old you are. Your parents still thinks you're a child and you need help. And she was well-meaning, right? She thought, I need to be there for this grandchild. I need to help, just like you thought you were well-meaning. But I think there were many situations for me as a young adult where the message behind that was that I wasn't capable myself. So it made me not trust myself or feel resentful that I was being controlled that way or guilted into doing things a certain way. So I think it's a very important thing to leave a vacuum for adult children to learn for themselves.
Yes. And when we talk about guilt, like, I play that guilt card to my kids all the time, like all the time, right?
Yeah.
And I would do things like, they would say, Mom, what do you want for your birthday? Just your time. And they're going, no, what do you want? And I would just to give me time. And they're going, we have families, we have no time. And me,
oh, you don't have time for your mother. My mother literally said that to me once when I had 2 young children. She said that to me. So yes, I really get it.
So and through our hypnosis journey, I've learned that guilt and shame is a weapon, right? It is truly a weapon. as I listen, even to the kids sometimes, I hear the words that I've said to them, and I'm like, ooh, right? I needed a roll of duct tape, right? The kids really should have taken out chairs and the duct tape roll, right? And that's so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So, how has this growth and learning helped you help your clients better?
So I find when I'm in with my clients, I see a lot of patterns there, and I'm able to step in and help them move through that a lot quicker. So I have the tools to help them move through, either through moving or just some techniques and things like that. And it makes usually the person sitting in my chair usually has a pattern that I'm going through it right at that particular moment. And I have to do a lot of reflection afterwards and going, okay, so not only am I helping them, I'm helping myself at the same time, which is very interesting that. And when I see that three people are in a row, I'm going, oh, this is a big one that I have to break through.
Where might I be doing this? Yeah.
Exactly. And, and when I find that they're reacting in a way where, it's not true, or that I see that version of myself where, I definitely had the blinders on.
Yeah. And isn't it interesting when we can let go of our own story or our defensiveness about it enough to at least observe things in others that we might be doing, right? It's even better if we can observe it in ourselves, but sometimes it's actually easier to see it in others and go, oh, right, I do that too. And then you see what the fallout is, and it becomes easier to agree to change it or to not get lost in the story of it or the belief that here's how it has to be.
Right. And it's interesting too because it's a game, right? And it's what game, I think you taught me that. What game are we playing? And you can usually see some of the games that I played in the past, but even my clients, right? And it's like, oh, okay. Right. So the game of Twister is a good one.
Yes.
Right.
That is a good metaphor for what a lot of people play in real life.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I actually have that at the clinic, that, and sometimes I'll put it on the floor and, and they're looking at that. And I go, is it crazy how we contort ourselves to stay where we need to be?
Yeah.
And like I offer them, do you want to do that now? And they're like, no, thank you.
That's awesome. We should all have twisters in our offices. Great idea. Yeah, great. Is there anything else you want to share with us that was helpful for you about this, or things you think might be helpful for the audience?
I think once we discover how we're managing or mapping out our world, and we can discover that, is this useful or unuseful? And that was a big one for me. In fact, my husband goes around the house when I say something, he'd go, useful? Unuseful.
So he's picked up some things from you.
He's picked up some things for me, and and rightfully so. He will backplay something that I have to go, oh yeah, okay, got it. So I think he's a really good client in some aspects, and then
he's a quick study.
He's a quick study. And I see him practicing a lot of the, the techniques and things that I work on myself. I see him doing it outside our home with other people. And so he's just picking up. So I think as we do this, other people start to learn just by observing how we're moving through things ourselves, which is cool.
That is very cool. Yeah, just by being around us, they start to look at the world that way as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. All right. Well, tell people how they can get in touch with you.
So my space is in Aurelia, Ontario. It's called Kahshe Hypnosis, and you can reach out to us at kahshehypnosis.com. And we love to meet you and come in and see what we have to offer there.
Yeah, and people come to you to do things like lose weight, stop smoking, manage stress, be more confident, those kinds of things.
Fear, everything. It's so cool. We have such a diverse group that come to see us.
Yeah, awesome. And the other thing is that we're planning to do a workshop. It's a 2-day workshop about navigating family dynamics. It's going to be November 15th and 16th. 2025. So you can check out hypnosistrainingcanada.com to find out more and register for that class. I'm really excited to do it because this theme has been one that's very close to my heart for many reasons, as I know it has for you as well, Cyndi. So many people who come to us for training in general make important changes around these themes. But this 2-day workshop will be focused specifically on family dynamics.
And how cool that you're doing that, Robbie, because I wish we had had these tools when I was just a new mom.
Mm-hmm. Me too. Yes. Yeah. Right. I actually started to learn hypnosis and NLP before I was a mom because I knew I wanted to be a better mom. So yes, the way that we learn how to interact with the world helps us function better so we can help our children grow up to be more resilient and independent. So it's pretty cool. And our grandkids too.
And at least I got it before all the grandkids. I'm just a late bloomer.
Yeah, well, you learn it when you learn it, right?
That's right.
Great. Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you for coming on the show.
And thank you so much for having me.
You can connect with Cyndi at kahshehypnosis.com. That's KAHSHE hypnosis.com. Looking for more support to make these types of changes in your own life? Join us for a 2-day Navigating Family Dynamics workshop on November 15th and 16th, 2025. Learn more at hypnosistrainingcanada.com or click on the link in the show notes. If you're interested in connecting with me and learning about personal and business coaching, consulting, and training opportunities, go to mindlinkconsulting.com or hypnosistrainingcanada.com and schedule your free consultation. Let us know what you think of the show. Reach out to us at mindlinkconsulting.com. And if you like this show, please rate and review us so other people can find us too. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Robbie Spier Miller, the host of the Habit of Possibility podcast. Tune in next time to learn more about how you can turn obstacles into opportunities and make the most of your life and career.